Racing fans, welcome back to the channel. Brought to you again in association with betting.co.uk. I'm your host Ginger Joe and I'm back with my final selections for day 5 of the Royal Ascot meeting. I've got 5 selections for you to get stuck into in this episode to combine into an each way lucky 31. Now we started off the week really strongly, had some nice winners on day 1, but it has mellowed out throughout this week, but hopefully we can finish in a nice strong position to take some winning profit into next week's jumping action. Can't wait to get back into the jumps action. However, I am pretty sweet on a few of these runners today nonetheless. If you're new to my channel, please do hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a great deal, and by doing so you do get access to my group chat. So click the subscribe button on this video, drop me a message on Twitter, and I will then send you a link to come over and join in on all the action. Now, before I go on to the selections, in the description below, you will find my article, which is live on betting.co.uk. And also, I've got a free bet offer for you, courtesy of BetVictor, where if you bet £5, you'll get £30 of free bets using the link below this video. But without further ado, we're going to go straight on to today's action. Starting off by taking a look at the 230. We've got the Chesham Stakes, a 7 furlong listed race. We've got Pearls and Rubies at the top of the market here for Aidan O'Brien. Much more likely to act better for this stiffer test of track, and likely to go very well indeed. Again, really well supported from 5-2 all the way in to 6-4. However, I don't think the price is very valuable. Mind you wouldn't mind a 6-4 winner. But the one I fancy in this race is Golden Mind for Richard Fahey and Oisin Orr at 12-1. Opened up at 10s, has taken a slight drift up, but I'm not going to let that put me off. I actually think he's a really good value bet for this race. He's a half-brother to Perfect Power, who of course won the Norfolk and the Commonwealth Cup. And this one has actually done better for the step-up and trip. Finished third on debut over 5 furlongs, and then got up just on the line to win over 6 furlongs last time out. Looks crying out for this extra distance. Similarly to Perfect Power as well. Probably going to do much better over the 7 furlong trip. Got a really nice cruising speed, this one. Got some really strong credentials bringing this one into this race. And I just think that he could go very well at a pretty decent price. So my first runner of the day is Golden Mind in the 230 Chesham Stakes in the opener. My second selection of the day comes in the QE2. We've got the Jubilee Stakes, where Highfield Princess has actually been really well supported into the 7-2 favourite. Obviously ran really well the other day in the King's Stand. Unlucky, maybe not so unlucky to not get the race. That's up to you to decide. But she's back again, taking her opportunity to try and go one better in the QE2. We've also got the Australian Raider here, Artorias, likely to have a really big chance as well. But I'm really surprised at Alsa Hale's price here at 14-1. Now, it's been a very quiet week for the Godolphin team. I understand that for sure. But the price is something that's definitely dragged me in for Alsa Hale. He was sent off to Maidan for 3 runs. Did really well. Twice winning over 7 furlongs, and then was just beaten half a length over a mile. He drops back here actually to 6 furlongs, but that won't be a problem. He's got plenty of pace on his side, and I do think he's going to go really well once again. He's actually been running the best races of his career so far. He's a 6-year-old now, seems to be better than ever, and the stable have actually won this in 2019, 2022, and I'm hoping that there could be a nice revival for the Godolphin team for today. He's actually a little bit still unexposed despite being a 6-year-old, particularly at this trip. And I didn't think he'd be 14-1. I thought he would be a single figure runner for this race. So I'm just willing to take my chances that he's going to come back to form for this one as well. So that's Alsa Hale at 14-1 is selection number 2. Then moving on to the 5 o'clock at Royal Ascot. I like Probe here as my nap selection of the day. Ryan Moore takes a ride, which is obviously a huge plus towards his chances, but he's actually in this race under a really low weight and a very likeable type as well. Probably a horse that's going to do well in this sort of big field, likely to improve once again. And I just think that with Ryan Moore on board, this one is really ready to put a personal best behind him. You could forgive him last time out for being beaten at Epsom. Not necessarily a track that he'd probably go into light, but more on a conventional track back here. I think he's going to take some stopping. Really well handicapped. Yet to obviously win on the fast ground, but I think it's actually going to bring out a little bit more improvement in him still. And he's on a very handy mark here. Much better handicap than some of his rivals that he has actually previously met as well. Then in the 5:35, we've got the Golden Gate Stakes here. And I'm going to take a chance on Ziriab at 13-2. Slightly on the drift a little bit again. But another one very well weighted to go well in this race, and a typical horse for me to latch onto. I really like these Kingman Colts. I do think they're very, very smart and actually seem to do pretty well up to a mile and a mile too, so I don't think the staying trip's going to be a problem. And Ziriab's learned very well on the job. He cost 500,000 guineas as a yearling, and he now is starting to show some really progressive forms. Taking a bit of time just to find his stride, but he's had 3 runs over a mile. Looks like the step up and trip's going to suit him really nicely, and obviously going to be well suited to this ground as well. Looks like he's just gearing up to put his best foot forward, and Ziriab is selection number 4. Then in this 6:10, the final race of the day, another drifter. You've got Stratum all the way out now to 7-2. But I fancy Falcon 8 here for Dermot Weld. Back on conditions that are going to be very much up his street, and a very capable horse as well. We've seen it from him in previous times. He was second in this race last year, and I do actually think that he could come back into form, providing the campaign that he's had so far has been on soft ground, but he gets the good ground again here, where all of his better performances have actually come. So a return to this sort of track off a pretty decent mark on the good ground, I imagine Falcon 8 is going to go very, very close indeed, and particularly a good selection for the each-way market. So they're my 5 selections for you. We've got Golden Mind at 12-1 in the 230, Al Sahel at 14-1 in the 340, Probe at 8-1 in the 5 o'clock. We've got Ziriab at 13-2 in the 535. And then to finish us off, we've got Falcon 8 in the 610, the Queen Alexandra Stakes. My 5 selections for you there for today. Sorry, it's been a little bit of a quick fire video again. Had a few things to sort out this morning. However, next week I'll be back with some longer videos, some more in-depth analysis. So don't forget to hit subscribe, hit me up on Twitter, and come over and join the group chat. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I really do appreciate the support, and I'll see you all real soon. Bye for now.